IGN-Rewind Theater is brought to you by...
Hey everybody, Jim and Roth here with a Rewind Theater in the second trailer for Interstellar.
Finally, we get a little bit of detail about this film.
We finally got some plot. Now, there's Matthew McConaughey. He plays Coop. And then he is a farmer.
He is a farmer. He is an engineer. He is a family man and soon-to-be astronaut. He is an everyman. That's how Nolan described him at CinemaCon. And he said that he actually, we know that McConaughey has sort of had a huge resurgence in his career this year, but he actually cast him based off Mud, which is a small movie that he saw very early that if you guys haven't seen, you should certainly check out.
Now, let's just back up here. This little girl here, Mackenzie Foy, you probably know her from the Twilight movies. She played the daughter of Bella Swan and Edward Cullen.
Renesmee.
She is Murphy, or Murph, McConaughey's daughter.
Named after Murphy's Law, the poor thing.
Yeah, and there's a funny little bit in the trailer explaining their takes on that. That is Timothy Chalamet. I'm sorry, Timothy, if I'm slaughtering your name, as his son. Now, let's just we'll talk about Mackenzie here a little later on, but it's tied in. There's a rumor tying her in with Jessica Chastain's character,
and they are interestingly both redheads.
Now, the world of the future here is. There is famine, there is fires and environmental change. Just want to point out there, that is David Oyelowo. Sorry if I'm getting your name wrong, too, but he was in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Red Tails, great actor.
I think one of the interesting things, too, that we're noting is that this sort of, we do a lot of apocalyptic worlds, I think, these days, and this seems naturally based, you know, from what we're seeing in the trailer. He's saying we didn't run out of electronical devices. It wasn't a sort of Skynet global apocalypse, but we ran out of food.
And you can see that the environment turned on people, and that's what caused it. It's basically the Dust Bowl. If people know their history, that was ravaging America in the 20s. There's Casey Affleck. We're not sure who he's playing, but you know that we think that the movie is going to jump back and forth in time because Nolan does love himself in nonlinear stories.
He's sort of, and you'll notice this is the world kind of on fire. I mean, this is just as bleak as it could look. And if you'll notice, we'll see a little bit later, we believe that this might be in the future, in the sort of 20 years or so.
Things have just gotten even worse. You know, every day you're fighting fires. And as we record this, California is actually burning. So
that's nice.
Let's just notice here that her red hair, and we'll get back to that, and his jacket.
The other thing that we also want to note is that Nathan Crowley, who is the production designer on the film, noted recently that at the crux of this film is this father-daughter relationship that I think we're really getting a sense of in this trailer. She's kind of the beacon of hope for him, the thing that he's going to want to fight to save the world for and come back for. So the other thing, too, is that Nolan is, for the first time, it's interesting, not working with Wally Pfister. Oh, hold on. We got to talk about this.
Here's Michael Caine. He plays this sort of scientist mentor type character. You can tell he's smart because he has pens in his front chest pocket.
Oh, yes.
And he is Nolan's basically Lucky Charm, sort of the way John Ratzenberger is to Pixar now, where they have to show up in every one of their movies.
We want to note that this is a fantastical film. It's going to have fantastical elements. This is about traveling through wormholes. They worked very closely with Kip Thorne, who's done a lot of theory on wormholes. But what he's really emphasizing here is the human element in this trailer, and I think that's notable because he talked about drawing on things like Star Wars from his childhood, but also 2001: A Space Odyssey. And he's talking about trying to reimagine the event film to being something it was when he was a child.
I just want to point out here in the background, there's John Lithgow, and we believe he plays the grandfather.
Who was left to raise the children while he was off wormholing in space. There's Dad off to rescue the world, and she's going to miss him quite a little bit.
There's some reports that this is all just from the first 15 minutes of the trailer.
Right. Or the film.
Oh yes, I'm
So
sorry.
here
The
we are
film.
in space. Let's talk about this for a little bit. I touched on this briefly. He's not working with Wally Pfister, who is his normal DP. He went off to do Transcendence. He's working with Hoyt van Hoytema, who they built. You know, Nolan's really big on two things: practical effects and IMAX. There's more IMAX in this movie than any of his other films, and they built these ships to scale so that his DP could run around and shoot, quote, documentary style.
And that they built practical environments outside of it, because there are going to be scenes of them on some sort of alien planet. They did film in Iceland, which we were imagining would double as that. Let's just stop
And
here, though.
who's the secret actor who might be on this alien planet?
Why, none other than Matt Damon.
Yes, get
now,
excited.
there on the left, believe that is our first glimpse at Anne Hathaway, who is also in the movie, but I'm going to get a better look at her in a moment here. Now, this looks to be suspended animation, or they didn't make it.
Well, they're traveling through... Basically, they're traveling to a place that is so far away that they can't get there. Okay, hold on. I know I keep getting ahead of myself. But here's Jessica Chastain, and if you notice, she does look like the adult version
She
of
has
his
red
young
hair,
daughter.
and she's wearing McConaughey's coat.
Yeah, so we think that what's going to happen is that this is the world 20 years or so on, and it's just gone even more to heck.
Yeah, like her father has basically disappeared in space. Will he ever come back?
Will he ever come back and the world is on fire? And the idea is that you can't save the world. You have to find a new one. And so that's what he's in search of.
The only way out is up.
Up.
Here, this is actually great because we get we get a good look here at the ship, and then coming up this alien environment as they're. And here's Anne Hathaway. Of course, she worked with Nolan previously on The Dark Knight Rises, where she was Catwoman. Let's go forward here.
Look at this. So we think that this is the world that they're heading towards. And the whole idea, obviously there's practical effects, but there's going to be heavy CGI effects here, as you can see. But the idea is that they're going to be looking for a world that is habitable and has resources that they no longer have on Earth.
Now, Steven Spielberg was initially developing this project. It's been in development for about 10 years. And Jonah Nolan, Christopher's brother, was writing it before Christopher Nolan came on board to direct, and then he combined it with a story of his own. Yeah,
they worked together. Obviously, they worked together quite a little bit, but one way or another, this script or this story has been in development for quite a few years because, and this is one thing that you noted, that because we don't ever see his wife, we think McConaughey is a widow, and because the focus is on his relationship with his child, though he does have a ring. So he's a faithful widow. All right, so here we come. Now, this is interesting, you guys. This is something that our producer pointed out to us. It looks like at this point that they are sort of entering through a barrier into this other dimension. If you look closely, keep going a little bit ahead, it looks like it's reflective, as if they are breaking through a surface. If you think about it like water, breaking through the surface of water, and then what's below that water, we don't know. Maybe Matt Damon. But if you keep going ahead a little bit, and then you look, it looks like it's reflecting. The ship is almost reflecting off this surface.
I think it's coming up right here at this point.
Right there. So it looks like they're breaking through almost a reflective surface, pardon me.
Kind of like
into
going
Matt
through the
Damon.
Ocean or something. Yeah, into Matt Damon. Yes, they're breaking into Matt Damon. All right, guys. Well, I think that'll about do it. We'll catch you all next time.